Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Until minions spawn. Minions have spawned. A summoner has disconnected. A summoner has reconnected. A summoner has disconnected. Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Red team's turret has been destroyed. Red team's turret has been destroyed. team's turret has been destroyed. has slain the dragon. Red team has slain the dragon. Turret rating will soon fall. Red team's turret has been destroyed. Blue team's turret has been destroyed. slain the dragon. Team's turret has been destroyed.
You do have these things in the meta where you see them overseas where they're great. You like watching these compositions come together, but you also got to keep in mind how easy or hard it is to execute. When you start getting into collegiate and when you get into amateur, a lot of these easier to execute compositions are favored, are able to take more wins, and that's what I'm favoring right now on UCI's composition.
I agree, and we're already seeing mirrored starts on the Rift. Last Resistance running up top, UCI running down bottom. That means that they are not going to run into each other because they are on the far side of the Rift. But I do want to point out a couple interesting choices that have been made. Firstly, I was right. Barrett going with the E-Max style of build on the Jarvan. He's already got the air. He's going to be poking down Jace as much as he can from range. However, we also have triple teleport coming through for Last Resistance. That does mean that they are going to be very fluid in their ability to actually move around the map. They can bring multiple people to bear whenever they want. So they are a little bit more free with their ability to not be as crisp with a lot of the rotations. But at the same time, none of these people want to be teleporting into the middle of the enemy team. So they aren't necessarily going to be great at finding flanks.
So sadly, to my dismay, no 5v5 going to start up. 5-man death squads walking around, but now just happy to return to the jungle, happy to return to their sides of the map as the minions are going to hit now. It should be bottom side starts coming out for both junglers to start off this game.
And we are also having to pay attention to the fact that this ward that was put down by UCI is going to know exactly where King Clueless was actually going to be starting, whereas on the side of Last Resistance, they know that there is no Hecarim at the red buff, but they don't necessarily know exactly what he's going to be doing in the early stages, and that gives a lot of freedom to UCI to have a little bit more aggression in lanes where they know that Viego is not going to be. With King Clueless going to the Raptors, it signals he's likely going to be skipping the Krugs, going towards the top lane, and Barrick knows he needs to play a little bit more defensively a little bit earlier.
I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye onto this bottom lane, waiting for that early level 2 to come. You can see Kim Dao really trying to set up for it. Once he's able to pop, just waiting for that minion, you're going to get the Zenith Blade engage. And it's something you want because it's very oppressive to have to deal with when, Ziggs does get going and is able to continuously just shove in that wave. But got to look over what's going on in the river. Where's the jungle? Elated. Popping off a shot there. Able to get too much. Going to draw some attention, but going back to the norm.
That's kind of what we were talking about, right? This Jace getting poked down with only a refillable potion compared to the corrupting potion that Barrick has picked up. Elated taking quite a bit of damage and not able to return. But this also goes back to what we were saying. Barrick knows that Viego can't be here just quite yet. And the worst thing for Last Resistance is the fact that Jace's wave is pushing towards Barrick. So he doesn't need to be super aggressive and go for anything. He knows that Viego can be here, and he just needs to wait for Baco's Hecarim to come up, potentially look for this 2v2. And they're going early.
Here we go. The flag and drag able to get the stun going on to Barrick, but here comes Baco. He's going after Elated. Flashes into the bush. Will be able to get away from the charge. Teleport going to be channeled. After is going to join, looking for that first blood, and will find it. King Clueless able to grab.
Ooh, very odd stuff coming in from Baco, but it's going to reward them with a lot. Here goes Clueless.
Oh, flag and drag going to miss. Going for the tower dive now. King Clueless sets it up, and he will complete it. It will be at a cost, but the kill goes through. The dive successful.
All right, that's really big. This Jace was starting to suffer in the top lane, but now with this kill going through, 2 assists going over to Elated, he's going to be much happier in this long lane than he was previously. And crucially, Baco comes up. He's able to farm a little bit more, but it's not going to matter when your opponent just gets 2 kills off the bat. King Clueless already showing he's going to be going for the Divine Sunderer build with this early pickup, and it makes it a lot more difficult for people like Baco, for Barrick to burst him out really, really early, and this Viego suddenly becomes a huge win condition for Last Resistance. So a play that was looking a little bit rough for them, coming out really big, has to be putting them in good spirits.
And props to Afters as well. Really quick on that teleport, suspecting that action was going to go down there. Now After is going to be the target of Baco. Looking to come in with the charge, gets hit by the ball, but shield comes out. The binding going to land. Cinnamon Bread takes a good chunk of damage, and it's pretty much a little bit of an unsuccessful gank there. Cinnamon Bread looking worse for wear.
Bit tougher, but he does still have the teleport, so he should be doing a-okay. And we're also seeing Baco with this Predator just wants to run from lane to lane, trying to find something. Unfortunately, he's going to get spotted out once again. And what's he doing? Is he channeling? No, he doesn't realize
He doesn't even
that
know
he's
on
ward.
top of it. It almost makes it look like he knows, too. He's just standing right on that spot.
I would almost expect him to be dancing, though, if he knew he was on a ward. Instead, all this time that he's going to be sitting here does mean that it's going to be harder for him to do much of anything. It gives Viego time to farm.
And that missed Zenith Blade is going to show that Baco cannot take the engage here, waiting for that cooldown, just going to back off, not going to go for it. Instead, attention put over towards the mid lane and stealing away those Raptors.
Yeah, but it's almost like being a total psycho at this point, right? He's just going. He's like, I know I have 4 camps up. I can assume my top lane's or my top side's probably gone. But, you know, he still has the bottom side of the map to farm. He doesn't want to do it. Instead, just going to be taking away the Raptors like you called out. And going to be trading back and forth in terms of farm. And while all is said and done, Diego's going to be coming in right here behind Barrick, who still doesn't have Flash.
Barrick, no man's land. King Clueless
Nice.
going to show up, but
God.
he brings the fight right back to him. Able to take him down before King Clueless shows up. An attempted gank over in the bot lane, but Barrick is far too deep. It should be a trade. I don't know. Barrick has pulled off some crazy stuff. There's the final spark. And that kill is going to go right over to Afters.
Shutdown going through.
Shutdown.
Barrick getting that level 6 in the middle of the fight, ends up getting the kill. Elated must not have been taking that into consideration, but hey, Cinnamon Bread here also taking a good chunk of damage, and still, UCI have a bit of a lead up in the top lane now that Barrick has gotten another kill down onto Elated, but this Viego and this Lux now starting to get accelerated are going to be a problem. One of the things that you always look at with reset champions like the Viego, like something like a Jinx even, is you want to have a lot of burst in order to get that first kill that allow you to chain into further kills just by getting all the extra stats that come along with it. And with the Lux starting to be accelerated, suddenly you have a great way to start getting these resets for Viego, and he can just start taking over these fights because it's so hard to focus him down with the champions that UCI have drafted.
Baco opting to take the blue buff. Now going over towards the Scuttle Crab as Reborn hops over the wall. Gonna be able to spot this off, putting a little bit of pressure here.
Okay.
Oh, thought he was about to steal it away. Would have been absolutely disastrous there. As gonna back off and head straight back to lane.
We also have to pay attention to what Baco is going to be doing after this. He does get spotted out once again, and oh!
Ooh. Zahori by himself. King Clueless coming down to the bot lane as well. Looking to try and intercept here. Zahori running away. Gets caught out. King Clueless able to show up. 3 versus 1. King will be able to finish it off and grab his 3rd kill of the game.
A little bit greedy. He's trying to crash the wave. Isn't able to. And on the opposite side, Elated, he expects a dive right now. He knows that Baco's here. He sees him on the ward. And with Barrick starting to push up, he knows it's just a matter of time before this Hecarim does come over. However, he's not going to be giving up a kill at this point. They're going to be trading a couple of plates here in the top side of the map for the Dragon. And Last Resistance, super thrilled about that. They know that these plates are not going to be worth as much as the Dragon long term, and the extra movement speed makes it that much easier for them to just dodge away from all the big engage tools that are going to be coming out from UCI.
So now the response going to be out of UCI. Hey, grab the Rift Herald. That's up on this side of the map. We got resources allocated there. Going to be a quick pickup. Kim down, excuse me, now over on this top side. Kind of stalking out for the time being. Just playing guard. Is Elated. Doesn't realize how much danger is just awaiting his lane.
Oh, I think he knows now. He's down 2 levels, and Reborn is here as well, but so is Baco. We got a big dive shaping up.
Oh, and Reborn to only level 5. You're going against a lot now. Elated goes down. Reborn forced to walk away. The Onslaught of Shadows goes off, and there's the dunk from Barrick. Baco gonna accept his fate. 2 for 1 in favor of UCI.
Really good play coming out from UCI, being willing to go for that, and after shows up just a little bit too late, but it gives us pause in asking what could have been there. UCI might have been able to get the Rift Herald crash, blow up the turret all at once, and take the game from slightly losing to firmly winning if Mako had been able to survive that. Instead, going to continue putting Elated's Jace in the dirt, and we know that Jace eventually comes back online when they have 2 completed items, but until then, UCI have this really big window where Baco and Barrick are going to be dictating how fights go, and that's going to be coming up during the next Dragon, and then the Dragon after that, before Jace is going to be relevant at all.
I'm waiting for it, Joshi. I'm waiting for that roaming death squad. I want to see Bako go to lane to lane to lane to lane with every single member he can free out. I want to see the shockwaves. I want to see the cataclysms. I want to see it all. They're getting primed for that position where they can start going for these team fights, and they're going to need it because objectives are going to start spawning that are going to be around those Drakes. They're going to be Baron, especially once we get later. And now here comes the engage from Kim. Brilliantly played from Exthany. And now Reborn going to be able to show up as well, looking to try and cut him off. The bomb goes off, him getting lower and lower, but Reborn not looking to find the engage.
Really tough spot there coming in for Kim down. Only level 5 when this fight actually started, and it does mean that without the ultimate, he's not going to be able to catch anything. So eventually, we just are going to see that he's going to be able to find some of these tools, and when his flash comes back up, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Exathy and Afters. But Reborn is doing a great job roaming around the map and getting a lot of vision, tracking down exactly where Baco is, and we'll see. That's something that they can't actually leverage right now because with them separated, Baco doesn't look like he wants to actually be going for the fight just quite yet. He's probably going to get his recall stopped.
So Hori, a lot of pressure onto him. Not going to stop the recall. Now even more damage on Sohori. Reborn just stalking right now as he falls to sub 300. Reborn going to choose to go for the engage, able to catch it, catches him in midair. Sohori goes down, Reborn gets the kill, tower dive successful. They made it look easy, but now the attention of UCI is focused onto this bot lane as here comes Bako over the wall looking for Exthany. Barrick shows up from the teleport, will get the kill. Now King Clueless, Reborn looking for Cinnamon Bread, able to just chase him back to lane. One down, Exthany falls.
Unfortunately for Barrick, as his teleport comes down here, he ends up losing a lot at the same time on the opposite side of the map. The Jace going to be able to pick up a couple of turret plates for themselves and recoup a lot of the losses that they had previously in the game. And crucially as well, King Clueless, now with 3 kills, has the completed Divine Sunder, is super accelerated compared to members of UCI and Barrick. He has to find Elated or this is a total disaster.
He puts down the ward, so he will spot out the recall. Flag and Drag comes out. Flash going to be burnt. There is the Cataclysm, and now Elated is caught. Locked up with Barrick, and Barrick will grab that kill.
Gonna grab it, and perfect timing. Bako is here. Gonna be throwing down the Rift Herald, I have to imagine, very shortly in order to pick up even more in this top side and try and snowball it away because this bottom side starting to get away from UCI a little bit. His last Resistance have done a fantastic job punishing the amount of time that Kim Down has been spending out of the lane. First turret goes down for UCI, and they're going to be trying to get that second crash there because the Elated just now respawning. But at the same time, Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. UCI, they can try and go for this turret, but it does mean that they are not going to be at the Dragon in time.
Oh, they're going straight for the pressure. They want to grab that inner, and they are going to be able to get it. Elated just so far behind. That is a 4-kill Barrick with the Gore Drinker completed. This side of the map belonging to UCI, they are going to be able to lay their claim to it and start to back off, try and take the reset, possibly catch that Drake.
UCI, as you said, it's going to be very difficult for them to really do much of anything, and Last Resistance are going to be the ones who will be picking up this dragon, grabbing themselves an Ocean Dragon. Feels like Season 11 still, and we'll see if we're going to be getting a new dragon for the last one, and see if we're going to be getting a different rift. What do you think? It's a 50-50.
What is it? Voting too late. Hex. Fuck.
Mountain. Close. Okay, Bako.
Close. Elated going over. Here comes the Solar Flare, trying to find it onto Elated. Out comes the Onslaught of Shadows. Elated, so sorry. It might not be Barrick taking you down, but the rest of the team will be able to bully you as the teleport is channeled. Showing up to the mid lane is going to be Exthany. They focus onto Cinnamon Bread. They're going to be able to grab that kill. Return in fire, now focusing onto the mid lane tower.
Yeah, this is really good coming out from Last Resistance. They already showed that they are willing to play a bit of a more difficult style of gameplay, and so far, they're doing it just fine. Every single time UCI goes for something, Last Resistance is willing to trade it for something on the rest of the map, and it keeps these strong members strong like they're supposed to be. I like that coming out from Exithy as well, right? He just wants to try and limit the ability of UCI to freeze that wave super far back, and it does mean that Sahori, if he wants to actually freeze this, is going to have to take a lot of damage to do it. Instead, looking to break the freeze and go back and make sure he can complete the Muramana at a reasonable pace.
And you start to see that Last Resistance able to push down in the bot while UCI pushing up in the top when it comes to the tower game. But you can't help but to feel that UCI are at least getting the better of some of this gold allocation, having a lot of it onto Barrick and what he's been able to do with it with these roams, constantly applying that side lane pressure. Now going to look to apply that into the mid lane. Just goes for the poke, not going to find it onto the back end of Reborn, but UCI and the rest of the squad are roaming over towards this Rift Herald, but they found Reborn as well. Shockwave going to be burnt, but will miss.
Feels like there's a lot of pressure on Barrick in this game, and that's a kind of a rough spot to be in as a player, right? As you start to think about it, you know it's like, hey, I have most of our team's gold. I'm going to be the one who actually needs to find opportunities to make plays. And meanwhile, the rest of my team is going to be trying to struggle and just allow themselves to get later on in the game. So Barrick, we're going to have to pay a lot of attention to what he actually wants to do. Is he going to continue trying to run over Elated in the side lane? Is he going to group and try and take some team fights that are a little bit more contested between Last Resistance and UCI? There's still a lot of choices left to be made in this game, and ultimately, Barrick's going to be the one who has to decide them.
But the good thing about playing that J4 is even if you do it in a team fight scenario, J4 is very front-loaded in damage, so he can go for that engage, get his damage off, and then, well, hopefully not, in a perfect world, not go down, but end up falling. Look at this. Setting up for the tower dive. Sharks now following their prey. Sahori almost going to get caught out here. There comes the final spark, but Sahori is able to get out unscathed. That's a tough one right there.
We are seeing a big play going down in the bottom half as well. Elated 0, 6, and 3 at this point, taken down by the jungler and support. That's going to be another turret trade going across the map. Lux should be able to get enough damage down here on the top side, considering it was already a couple plates going down. Whereas, again, Barrick and Bako trying to run over the map and just be very selfish with the amount of gold that they're picking up. Not selfish in a bad way, but just, hey, I'm going to get all the gold for us. And we have to remember these inner turrets in the side lanes worth a lot more gold now than the outer turrets. So UCI continue to even it up.
Here comes the teleport play. Looks like Last Resistance looking to try and pull the trigger right here.
It's Elated.
Teleporting in. To jump in, it's going to be Elated. He walks right into Kim, but the rest of the squad's able to show up, and they punish Elated for that TP. Bako will grab that kill, and the rest of Last Resistance forced to back off.
See Cinnamon Bread also commit the teleport, so won't have that for a little while longer, but you have to kind of question that, Eric. What was going through Elated's head? Was he expecting people to back away? Maybe only one person would come for him? But really begs the question, did UCI see that teleport? Did they know he was there, or is it just lucky intuition and good, best practices coming in from UCI? Either way, results in Elated 0, 7, and 3, really struggling on this Jace and not going to be relevant with their Muramana for the upcoming Dragon.
Yeah, that is brutal, and Jace is a champion that needs a pretty decent economy to be effective. The rest of Last Resistance now starting to accumulate over into the mid lane, as they're going to look to try and possibly challenge this Drake. They do have a Drake lead going for them. We got 35 seconds until the Mountain Drake spawns, but I think UCI have had enough of that. They're not going to allow that to be a win condition.
Lots of pressure coming through. Kim down, finally realizing he's on a ward. Oh, but good light binding onto Barrick. Every little bit of damage you take off this guy is going to make his dive a little bit less strong.
Reborn able to get the knock up onto Bako. Waiting for those long-range pokes to start to add up. This is what we're waiting for, Last Resistance. They want to get shot after shot after shot before they finally get that trigger pulled. Now UCI hovering around the Mountain Drake. They are spread out. Sahori completely isolated from the team. Reborn is on the inside track. Not going to let Sahori get with the squad. He still has Killer Instinct, though, so he can get in quite quickly if he needs to. It'd be a shame to use it as an engage tool instead of something that you need for the team fight, for some sort of disengage to get that disorientation going on.
It goes going.
But here comes Mako coming out from the back line, waiting for the onslaught of shadows, goes after Elated, will find Elated, but there comes the final spark. It's going to be able to take down Cinnamon Bread. Barrick tries to back off, but Clueless has his number, and Last Resistance has UCI. Sohori left by his lonesome, uses the blast plant beautifully, mind you, but your squad is dead. 4 down for UCI. Last Resistance earn a Drake.
We said that Last Resistance at the very beginning of the game was going to be in a rough spot if they were the ones who were second to the objective, and that's exactly what happened here. But Last Resistance was able to play it so much more cleanly than UCI in this situation. They're going to get rewarded with the Dragon, putting them 1 away from Mountain Soul. They're going to be able to pick up another structure here as well. Huge amount of gold going over to Exathy, and the game that we said UCI was starting to bring back is now firmly in Last Resistance hands, and it's going to be almost impossible for UCI to win if Last Resistance pick up the Mountain Soul, because all of UCI's damage is front-loaded.
And so much of that focus, Joshi, so much of that focus was on Elated. He has so many deaths at this point, 0 kills. This is not the person you need to focus down. Go look at Afters, go look at Exathy. Even Exathy being 0-1-6 can still be a threat. 3-0-5 over on Afters. That is your source of damage. Even King Clueless, who was able to tear up that backline once it was opened up. It is a disaster in choosing your targeting if you're UCI going after Elated.
I mean, that's what you said, right? Elated was already 0-7 by the time that fight actually started. Even if you take him down, he's not going to contribute. He wasn't contributing a whole lot in the first place. And UCI, as they end up stacking up on top of each other, go for basically the one loss condition that they really have in a lot of these team fights. And now, Mako, Barrick, the people who are strong for UCI, desperately looking for a way to actually find something in this game. And it looks like somebody might be getting caught here very shortly.
Ooh, King Clueless going right after Barrick. Here comes the Solar Flare, able to get the stun onto 2. Final Spark comes out, able to find its mark, and they're finding more as Afters goes on a rampage, taking 2 down. Bako on the run. UCI chased out.
Okay, UCI are on the ropes at this point. You have to kind of ask, what are they trying to think of? They're not bringing all their members to bear. They're not creating situations for this composition to work. And Last Resistance, I really feel like this is kind of the play that you're really going to have to be able to take further on in the tournament. Just, you know, level-headed, understanding what your composition actually wants to do, and being able to execute on it. We are saying, okay, that W is a little bit closer than I was expecting, but it does mean that UCI going to be giving up the Baron in 2 minutes and 40 seconds time. Last Resistance will still have it. That means that they can create a lot of pressure. They can start to look to take down these structures. They can push minion waves onto UCI's side of the map. That means that UCI going to be second coming into the objective, and that is so difficult for them to do.
This is going to be brutal for UCI. I'm trying to look at some of the things that they do have going for them. Cinnamon Bread on Orianna. Orianna is a champion that can play defensively quite well, so if they need to stall, Orianna can provide that. She does provide a lot of zone control just from the threat of the shockwave constantly being there. But that is a little you're scraping at when you look at the rest of Last Resistance and how safe they can be, how much they can clear waves from a distance, and how much pressure they can apply safely.
UCI, as you said, hard for them to do much. So now they're starting to get pushed off. They were trying to get a little bit of vision control here around the Dragon, but it feels too early, Eric. You know, you're not going to be able to maintain this by the time the Dragon actually spawns, and we're already seeing most of the vision control that UCI had tried to build up is just going to be cleared out. And now they're going to be underneath their own structures, and it really comes down to this wombo combo they have to try and go for, and they miss.
Oh, here comes the Zenith Blade. Kim down goes in. Shockwave goes off. Going on to Reborn, though. Exony finally caught out. Will go down to Cinnamon Bread, but the health bar is so low for UCI. Final Spark onto Kim down. Takes him. Double kill. Going on to After. Sohori flashing over the wall. Only him and Bako remain to defend the base here. And Bako is way too far up towards the wrong side of the map. Will start to go after Reborn as Sohori begins to collapse on into the mid lane. The rest of the squad of Last Resistance collapsing onto the Drake. Bako should be able to get away.
I like the idea coming through from UCI, but Last Resistance responding to it excellently. Even some of the things that we were saying at the beginning, Lux didn't necessarily want to teleport into the middle of the fight. They're able to get away with at this point. Lux just teleports right on in, throws out the final spark, and there's just not enough damage to take them down. Deathless games coming in from both King Clueless and Afters. As we see, 30 seconds left before the Dragon. UCI's jungler is push to the opposite side of the map, and they're going to be late, which means that Last Resistance, as we already called out, going to be at the Dragon first, and once the Mountain Soul is secured, the burst damage coming out from UCI far less intimidating. And Last Resistance, once they have that, I feel like they can siege basically for the rest of the game. They just need to line up and throw skill shots and dare UCI to try and find something.
It's a tough dare right now. They put a line in the sand. UCI, will they cross it? They have the composition to, but do they have the guts to? Do they even have the golden come to at this point? The Drake, it belongs solely to Last Resistance. No contest coming out of UCI.
Almost feel like that's the nail in the coffin, Eric.
Yeah.
There's not a lot left for them to try and do. We've been seeing Cinnamon Bread and Sahori trying to have impacts on this game, but they are just too far behind at this point. And hey, what do you know? Loon's also coming out on the Kai'Sa, another champion where we've been seeing a bit of experimentation between the builds that people are trying to go for, but feels like a bit too little, too late for them to start shifting their damage profile into a little bit more poke. They really need to try and find enough damage to actually burst people out, and I feel like Luden's might not be the way to do this. Eric taking a lot of damage.
Over the wall, going after Baco. Reborn. He has been fearless in this game, roaming from lane to lane. He's been a big impact in just threatening the positioning of UCI. That's what he continues to do right now, setting up in the mid lane. That tower is going to go down. Just one more inner tower remains before they start cracking those inhibs. UCI with their backs against the wall. Not really much they can do here as they try to set up a defense. They got some outer wards going there. Control ward. Baco now setting up on the back line. It looks like they might go for a flank. This could be the last attempt right here. This is all they really have left to try and stop the bleeding, to try and find a way into this fight. Baco sets up. He's going to look for Exony, able to knock him back, but starts the retreat. Out comes the Solar Flare. Onslaught of Shadows. They're going after Exony, but King Clueless is able to find Baco. Now Barrack on retreat, but he's caught by Clueless. Cinnamon Bread and the rest of the squad now on retreat. Cinnamon Bread takes a nice parting gift. Will be able to keep his life in the process, but Baco falls. UCI, they try so hard for the engage, unable to find it, and Last Resistance are knocking at the door.
Last Resistance are able to create so much space. Cinnamon Bread ends up using the ultimate on himself. He doesn't actually catch anyone, and now UCI, they want to do something, but without their ultimates, I don't know if they can hold.
They're trying to hold. Desperately trying to hold. Barrack not looking for the flag and drag. Not sure if he had the Demacian standard off cooldown right there, but Last Resistance will back off now. They still have enough members up. UCI only lost one in that last team fight, so just enough to defend as we head into a pause. But man, Joshi, Last Resistance, the authority they've had in the second stage of this game through the mid stage onwards has been dominating.
Whether or not they're going to be playing up against University of St. Thomas, start to think about what that game actually looks like, right? Because we do know that Last Resistance, relatively new players in a lot of ways, whereas I feel like a lot of the members of University of St. Thomas are a little bit more established at this point in terms of who they are, what they want to do. Yeah, I guess we should say they're pretty well established. We definitely know all of these members at this point, and it becomes very difficult for Last Resistance to potentially come up with a plan against a team that has been so dominant throughout a lot of these winter championships. They've been able to win a number of lands at this point as well, and are potentially one of our front runners looking at the CLOL season next year.
Potential fight going to come out. Reborn looking to get the knockup. King Clueless follows through, and Barrack on retreat. Baco just watching on the sideline, seeing if he needs to run interference. But look at this. Cinnamon Bread in the bot lane is going to go after Inhibitor by himself, while the rest of Last Resistance go after the Baron. Recall's been stopped. Nope, still going through. I believe it's going to be Elated who is sent back. That Inhibitor Tower might go down. And now the rest of UCI looking to posture up. Inhibitor Tower will fall. That is going to be picked up. A good net of gold coming back in for Cinnamon Bread. Looking for the far engage now. Barrack waiting on the wing. So is Baco. Looking to back off. Health bar starting to get low here. This is a tricky situation, but Cinnamon Bread don't want to contest it against Elated. Elated will get the 1v1. It still is a Jace, given how far behind he is. He still can take the fight to an Orianna, but the rest of UCI are posturing around this area. The teleport coming through. They have to take the engage. They have to take it now. He is going to join, and he's showing up right now. Elated shows up, almost RKO style, going straight after Barrack, who flashes over the wall. The bomb follows. Elated goes golden. Zahari trying his best to be able to survive this, but you're 1 versus 5. Baku coming in for style points, goes after Exony, but he is down, and so is UCI. Last resistance. They're waiting for the University of St. Thomas to take it to them as UCI falls in this 2-1 matchup.
Everything just feels so clear when suddenly Cinnamon Bread ends up going down. They're trying to find the last couple of kills in order to, feel a little bit better about themselves. But Elated, only 7 deaths. Nobody kills Elated more than 7 times.